Every morning as true as the clock, somebody hears the postman's knock. Every morning as true as the clock, somebody hears the postman's knock. Bang, bang, bang.
The Woodchurch Carnival in 2022 started off with quite a bang. Literally. Together with other villages and towns across the country, the people of Woodchurch came out of their post-lockdown hideouts to have a jolly good shindig.
God save the Queen!
The lighting of these beacons across the whole country marked the start of the late Queen's Platinum Jubilee celebrations. But this event meant so much more than that locally. Most people hadn't been to such a large-scale gathering for a number of years, which made it exciting. But to the people of Woodchurch, this was a special opportunity to revive a pillar of the village's social calendar from days gone by, something which had brought the community together every year. The Carnival and Fete.
Ladies and gentlemen, forget the rest, come to the best. Woodchurch Carnival, 12 o'clock Saturday.
Some words they can't be spoken, only signs. So hear a thousand voices shouting loud.
The Carnival and Fete had been a staple of Woodchurch's culture from 1967 to the early 90s, when sadly it came to an end through a lack of support. But for that quarter of a century, it played a massive role in the community, bringing people together from all walks of rural life. Floats and activities were organised by many of the different clubs and societies in the village. From the gardeners to the drama queens, the sports clubs to the choir, they've all been involved at some point. People would work on it for months beforehand, creating the music, the floats, the amazing costumes and the entertainment for this local spectacle. There's a treasure trove of all these old photos to be found in the Woodchurch Museum, and everyone is welcome to go and take a look at them. It's always interesting to see people you know from 25 years ago. But what also stands out is how Woodchurch has always managed to put on a pretty good party. The carnival made headline news in the Kentish Express every year, with double-page spreads eulogising about how much money it had made and if any celebrities had attended. One such VIP was Arnie Wilson, the TVS presenter of Coast to Coast, who lived in the village with his family of girls. Another guest of honour was David Cretan, author of Beasts and Babies, which described his life as a farmer at Maywood Farm, just off Redbrook Street. And then, oh, well, I'm not too sure who that is, someone who's just a good friend to the village, I believe. This particular article from 1978 tells the story of the carnival's origins as a fundraiser to buy a TV for the school. It describes how right from the first ever event, the carnival raised so much money that it could be split between various causes or projects that were important to the village each year.
Ladies of the way!
And here, the beautiful carnival queens had their day each year, pictured in these historic articles, perched on their glorious thrones, surrounded by fair maidens. What an amazing sight it was! As the years went by, the carnival grew from strength to strength, until in 1979, after 12 years of running it from its inception, Mr. Grant, the headmaster of the school, handed the organisation of the event to a committee. In his letter of resignation, he said,
"The event takes many months to prepare, and of necessity, parents and teachers have devoted more and more time to carnival business and less to educational matters. I have therefore handed the reins to a committee under the chairmanship of Mr. Battani."
But that didn't spell the end of it, quite the reverse in fact. By 1985, the programme of events had grown to a whole week of activities, with sports matches, a pet show, a mini marathon, a tug of war and a good old-fashioned Punch and Judy show.
I remember probably late 70s, I was in the Lower Road float and we had a circus that day. And my brother ended up as a cowboy and I ended up as being a clown, which was quite, I guess that was pretty apt. And that was good fun. The excitement in the village and seeing all the happy faces, the magic certainly came back this year.
And so it did. In 2022, Woodchurch did itself proud yet again for the Queen's Platinum Jubilee celebrations and the revival of its historic carnival and fete.
Fire centre! Quick march!
There was a marching band, and the obligatory steam traction engines, there were floats from every corner of the village. And a fete on the green where the procession ended, and the whole village gathered together.
We had an idea about a dragon, like a Chinese dragon, loosely, very, very loosely based. We kind of changed it to an English dragon, which had elements of the Union Jack, England, Britain and Woodchurch, with the church and the windmill. We had input from quite a few. We was asking questions and what they thought of the idea, and we got a lot of the kids to draw their own dragon pictures. So we had about 12 pictures from around Brattle. We had a lot of help from the Pop-In Centre. They had really like an Aladdin's cave of goods next to their hall. And we kind of, me and June just would go round boot fairs and charity shops looking for ribbons and all other bits that we might need, and paint, and it all came together.
Despite the fact that many people still hadn't yet recovered from the financial effects of COVID-19 and were teetering on the edge of a recession, the people of Woodchurch still managed to find the resources to create all this.
We had a very, very low budget, and we wanted to keep it a low budget to kind of encourage others to take part in future years and see that, you know, you didn't really need a lot of money to make a pedestrian float. I mean, we knew early doors we weren't having the trailer and the tractor, so we thought we'd do a pedestrian float and keep the budget low, and to show that other people could take part and how much good fun it was to make and to be part of the village. Seeing all the happy faces walking around the village and seeing a lot of friends that I hadn't seen for quite a while, that was also special. And without their help, the Brattle Dragon was going nowhere.
These days, with the working week and the family structured quite differently, it's difficult finding the time to get everybody together like this to create such amazing projects. But hardship never stopped the Woodchurchians from having a good time in the past, and it certainly wasn't going to stop them now. The occasion was even blessed by the weather, with the warm summer sun making the colours shine in a scene that wouldn't have looked too dissimilar many decades ago.
Because it was the first time in many, many years since we last had the carnival, doing something for that day I thought was very important, and it was really pleasing to see the amount of people who were enthusiastic about it. And it kind of, like the magic of past carnivals, when you're a kid, you've got that feeling again at this carnival, which was great. getting the village back together and seeing the faces that you hadn't seen for a while, and having a chat with them for the first time in years, especially with what's happened over the last 2 years, and getting everybody back together in the village and a happy occasion. Yeah, that was very important.
We got funding. We estimated that it was going to cost £21,000 to run the carnival, but we managed to get funding for £14,000 in the end. That came from several sources. The lottery grant gave us a huge amount, which was great. Ashford Borough Council and David Ledger also gave us some funding as well. And then the rest of the funding come from the brochure, advertising and stuff like that. And all in all, we had £14,000 that we raised, and we spent all the £14,000, and at the end of it we had £14,000 left, and we gave £4,000 straight back to the village, with £10,000 for the next one.
So, in the same spirit as the carnivals of the past, the 2022 event was pulled together with minimal resources and the sheer determination of the villagers and the local businesses. Looking through some of the old programmes, it's interesting to see how many of the businesses that supported the carnival in the early years are still in operation today and still supporting the Woodchurch Carnival.
The whole idea to revive the carnival was the villagers. When I returned to the village in about 2015, people kept saying, oh, the village carnival was the great thing, and we'd done a couple of picnic on the greens and people were saying, oh, well, why don't we turn it into the carnival? So that's how the brainchild of it starting appeared. To get it off the ground was a bit of a challenge, because obviously getting people to do things. So we held a meeting and said who would like to get involved, and then I used my suave, sophisticated bullying methods to make people be on the actual committee and take the roles of what we needed, which was a treasurer and all the other bits that go with it, a fundraiser and all the other bits.
I think it was a massive success this year's, and hats off to all the organisers, because they did such a fantastic job. And I know, speaking to a lot of people in the village, how much they enjoyed the day and how much they're already looking forward to the next one, which I believe will be 2 years' time.
The carnival was a success and we will run it again. The changes we want to make, we obviously did a little bit of a survey afterwards, and we found a few areas that we could improve, catering being one of them. But the biggest change I'd like to make is to get more people involved, especially the younger people in the village, so that they come on board. And we need their brains to come involved and tell us what to do and make it different.
Keeping it fresh has always been a consideration for the organisers, and this letter from the Carnival Committee to the village in 1985 announces a few new events for that year, including a new prize category for the best dressed bike.
The best dressed bike category, 1985, sounds exciting. I think we need different categories this year as well, or next year. We had a lot of foot participants this year, which really went down well. yes, I think we can do anything, but what I really need is other people to come forward and to say what it should be. It can't just be one voice in this carnival. We are a village and we need everybody.
And if that's not a call to action, then I don't know what is. So let's keep this tradition alive for the well-being of the village, the funds it can raise, the fun we have in putting it on, and to maintain our English rural culture.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you to the Woodchurch Morris.